Today on the Oneway Podcast, we're diving into a topic that every martial artist eventually meets face to face: training through adversity. My guest is someone who embodies that phrase on a level few ever experience. Soke Mark Hawley is a ninth degree black belt, a lifelong practitioner who began training at just 5 years old under his father's guidance. He's the creator of Atavism, an adaptive martial arts system rooted in practical self-defense and real-world application. Mark has been recognized by the Martial Arts Hall of Fame, teaches through the Family Self-Defense School, and is known for making martial arts accessible to anyone willing to learn. But what truly sets Mark apart is his resilience. Through his life, he has trained from a wheelchair multiple times, yet each setback became fuel for innovation, discipline, and deeper understanding. Today, we explore how adversity shapes a martial artist, how limitations can become strengths, and how Mark's journey can inspire anyone facing challenges on and off the mats. Welcome to the show, Soke Mark Hawley.
Thank you, Master John Olds. I'm very glad to be here today, sir.
Yes, sir. Well, we're honored to have you. I heard about you through the USA Hall of Fame, I believe, is where you were recognized.
United States Martial Arts Hall of Fame recognized myself and my art last year. Myself as a 10th degree black belt and
Wow.
my art as well internationally.
Congratulations on that. That's a big accomplishment. I think that's sort of the dream of
Thank you.
every aspiring martial artist to eventually achieve a 10th degree black belt and to have their, life's work recognized by such a prestigious organization. That's a big accomplishment. And it's one of the reasons why I wanted to sit down and talk to you, because we're always looking for, seminal voices on the martial arts to dive into specific topics. And today I want to really dial in on training through adversity. It's something that we all face, but sometimes it can, discourage us. And so listening to somebody who's been in the industry for over 50 years, can give us some good advice on how to push through that difficulty. But before we begin that discussion, I'd like to ask you a little bit about how you got started in the martial arts. How did starting martial arts at the age of 5 under your father shape your mindset as a young practitioner?
Sure, my mindset in martial arts is totally shaped by what I learned from my father. I was growing up on the Pine Ridge Oglala Sioux Reservation, and my brother and I were the only Washichu or white boys there. And so it was right after Wounded Knee. And I just declared I had hostile words whatsoever. By the time I left there, they had accepted me. But I started there in 1975 as my father got tired of me getting beat up and started teaching me how to do self-defense, World War II combatives that he learned while he was in the military, intelligence in Vietnam.
What
Okay.
inspired you to develop atavism, and what gap did you feel needed to be filled with this discipline?
What inspired me to create Atavism? Let's see here. Well, I started creating Atavism after I had a discussion with one of my instructors who told me that I will never be an Aikidoka,
Hmm.
and because I like to break the bones too much. Not that Aikido doesn't do that, but I'm more upfront about it.
Hmm.
And then I had another discussion with my instructor, Grandmaster Gary Finley, who told me to go ahead and start my own system, as I had studied multiple systems, not just Goju-Ryu and Kempo.
Hmm. It sounds like training through adversity has been almost like a hallmark of your experience. Has that helped kind of inform the development of atavism?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Being disabled myself, um, a lot of people did not want to train with me in a wheelchair or on crutches. For example, I can kick, but I don't necessarily know if my other leg's going to stand for it. So a lot
Hmm.
of the stuff that I do in atavism were probably 80 to 90% hands.
Hmm.
So
Nice.
training through adversity was about learning how to work with the tools that I have.
Have you read The Tao of Jeet Kune Do?
I have. I have a copy of it.
One of the my favorite things about that book is to talk about use what you've been given. Bruce Lee would always reflect on the fact that one of his legs was longer than the other, and so he modeled his stance to have that side favoring so that he would have longer reach. And um, it sounds like what you have done with atavism is very much in line with Bruce Lee's sort of idea of make the martial arts your own, use what you've been given to be the best at self-defense.
I'm very honored that you would say that, sir. Bruce Lee was one of my heroes growing up, um, and a lot of my techniques in my books, um, none of my techniques are numbered or named. They're all numbered. Um,
Mhm.
so um,
Is there
I
a
do.
reason for that?
It was just the way I was taught, so I just maintained that.
Gotcha.
Um, primarily from my beginning, that's how I was taught initially, and that's so I just maintained it.
Hmm. How do you define adaptive martial arts, and why is adaptability so crucial to real world self-defense?
Adaptive martial arts is it's interesting that you bring that up, sir. Adaptive martial arts is changing the art to
Mm,
fit the person, not the art, not the art to, not the person to fit the art.
mm. Yeah, I
That's
guess
how
very.
that's how I look at it. Is um, art is self-expression, and martial means war.
Mm,
So martial arts for self-expression, what works for you, sir, may not work for me.
hmm
So I mean, I can't require you to kick above your head if you're physically not able to do that.
hmm
But I can teach you to block and move in on your opponent,
Yeah, you
so
know
that
what?
his kicking range is deleted.
Sure. And that reminds me a lot of what I teach my students, where, I mean, certainly there's the physical limitations aspect and your physical strengths that you want to rely on and be mindful of. But then there's also this notion that just memorizing the techniques isn't enough. At a black belt level, you have to understand those deep principles behind what you're doing and then adapt them for any given situation. And if you have that kind of adaptive mindset, you will be fully prepared for all the permeations and realities of self-defense.
I agree with that, sir. I think that there may be 1,000 different variations of each technique, and who's
Yes.
to say which one does not work well over the other for each individual person.
Mm,
While I'm teaching, if a person is struggling getting their stance right, or maybe they have a knee problem or a back problem and they can't hold their feet in seisan or something like that,
mm,
or sanshin dachi, then we change the stance to fit the ability that they can use and still be effective.
mm. What was the biggest mental shift you had to make when training from a wheelchair?
I could not kick anymore.
Mm,
Training in a wheelchair, my first time in a wheelchair was 1990, 1989, and I've been in it several times since then with various surgeries. Um, I don't even know how many surgeries I've had on my knees.
mm. Did any
Um,
unique techniques come out of that?
uh, well, I like to use the different blocking systems. For example, the scooping block from Kukihiku Lua and Lima Lama. Uh, I use that to pull the person in and trap them
Mm,
and get them close to my body so I can manipulate theirs.
mm. And are there any other recommendations you would make for people that are training in a wheelchair?
Adapt. Use your wheelchair. Use it as a weapon.
Mm,
Not it's not it's a disability is in the mind. It's not it's not who you are. It's something that's happened to you.
mm. How can you use it as a weapon? Just charging in like a battering ram, or is there a more
You,
skilled way to use that?
you use your wheels to trap the feet.
Oh,
Use the foot braces to attack the ankles.
mm,
Um, use your upper body strength that you gain from using that wheelchair to manipulate the body so that your opponent can teach you how to get in.
now it sounds like you have some experience training in a wheelchair. There's a lot of different ways to be disabled, and by the sounds of it, atavism really focuses on, you know, tailoring your self-defense for your needs, like what you're able to do. As are you working with other people that have similar disabilities and helping them achieve success?
The reason I created adaptive atavism, which I call a subset of atavism,
Hmm.
is for a young lady that she was married to one of my students she was burned very badly on her bottoms of her feet, so she cannot walk. She walked on tippy toes for so long it changed the bone structure in her feet.
Ooh.
So she walks on a tippy toes. She can't kick because she can't hold her balance.
Mm,
So we created that system uh, strictly to do joint manipulations, locks, throws, very few kicks.
mm.
Um, and we had success. We have Miss K, um, we have Miss Jan and Miss Drew who also have trained and got black belts underneath me in that.
Nice. That's awesome. It's always a beautiful thing to see people succeeding in the martial arts despite any adversity they might face. Um, Speaking about emotional resilience, how did you maintain emotional resilience during periods when you couldn't train the way you were used to? That must have been a hard thing to go through. A lot of people would have just given up, but you didn't give up. You persevered and pushed through. Where did you find the strength? And what kind of advice would you give to the next generation to do the same?
Well, without sounding too, I want to say high and mighty, I prayed a lot.
Mm,
I prayed a lot, and I worked with people who understood that I was not able to do certain things, and that meant weeding out some people that didn't want to work with that.
mm,
Just keep trying. Just go and learn as much as you can. Know your limitations. That's one of the things too. It says in Sun Tzu. It says, "A man who knows his himself has already won. The battle. Know your enemy, and sometimes being disabled, that's your enemy. You have to know what your limitations are."
Now, you said you got sort of disabled after the war, or after, did you serve in Vietnam?
No, no, sir. I was in Desert Shield.
Desert Shield. Okay. But coming back, you had suffered some injuries. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. I was run over twice.
My
Once
God.
with a Fort truck and a missile, and then 6 months later, two pellets of 5-inch projectiles rolled over and pinned me to the deck.
Yikes.
And
Now,
so I had about 3,000 pounds sitting on my legs.
wow. Wow. It's amazing that you recovered so well from that.
I'm able to walk. Some days I have to use my canes, and I'm supposed to use my cane a lot, but I try not to. I feel like if I rely on it too much, I'll become dependent on it.
Hmm.
So I try to push myself not to use it all the time, but I use it a lot.
Sure. That's a good mindset to have. So, coming back and having some, lack of a better word, disabilities, what, did you continue to train with other people or were you more of an instructor at that period?
I did not get my first black belt till 1994. I had trained 18 years in multiple disciplines before I got my first black belt.
Gotcha.
because we moved around quite a bit. And in the military, I moved around quite a bit too. So,
Mm,
um, training different disciplines. When I came back and I met my instructor, Gary Finley, Grandmaster Gary Finley, um, he was very uh, accommodating.
yeah. Well, that was going to be my next question was, what was that experience learning from other people, having those limitations? Did you find that your instructors were, you know, supportive and helped you kind of adapt your technique?
Some of them, yes, some of them.
Did
Some of
that kind
them
of,
could not work with it because they were afraid of liability.
oh, really?
Yeah, and that's something too. The industry, martial arts. There's a whole a group of people, adaptive martial arts out there. I want to give them a heads up. Um, they're working with people from all sorts of disabilities, and
Hmm.
they'll actually send people and help you learn to teach them. I've taught people who are physically disabled and people who have autism,
Mm,
and it's a learning curve.
yeah.
It's a learning curve because it's not something that most people are taught.
It's one of the most beautiful things about the martial arts is that people seem to feel drawn to it despite any limitations they might have. I don't see a lot of people who are in their, 40s and 50s who are suffering from bad backs and messed up knees and maybe are in wheelchairs or have very limited range of motion doing things like ballet or football, but they find a home in the martial arts. And I think that's such a beautiful thing. And I think it's because martial arts is really much more than just physical training. It's a mind-body experience. What are your thoughts on that?
I totally agree. My Wing Chun instructor, Sifu Kim Hearn, may he rest in peace. He trained me from a wheelchair the whole time. He was run over and himself and had a broken back and was given bad blood, and he
Mm,
died from that. But the whole time that he was there, he was touching lives, uh, being positive, and mind and body.
hmm.
He would push you to be the best person you can be. And I think that's what's beautiful about martial arts is it's for everyone. Not
Hmm.
everybody knows that, but it's for everyone. And I
Yeah,
think it's very necessary.
I believe it's for everyone, and sounds like you're a big inspiration to a lot of people and help sort of lead people to success despite whatever their limitations might be. But there are some in this industry that might not feel that way. What would you say to those people who are, really focused on, you know, fight applicability and, just you gotta be at a certain fitness level. What are your thoughts on those people? Like the MMA community, the jiu-jitsu community has a lot of this kind of machismo and pomp that really only asserts that, you can't get a black belt unless you can tap out every brown belt and every purple belt below you. And what do you think about that? Is a black belt based on your physical fighting prowess, or is it more based on your knowledge, your dedication, your commitment, how much you've grown?
Well, I think a black belt is about personal growth. I think a black belt is a journey, not a destination. I think that we, black belt is, another step towards self-actualization. If you look at Maslow's hierarchy of human mat needs in psychology, at the top of that is self-actualization. At the
Mm,
bottom of that is survival, you
mm,
know. So people, so a lot of people get stuck into the making the money thing and forget that other people have dreams, hopes, desires, fears.
hmm.
I
Yeah,
think if we focus only on the negatives, then that's all we see.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I would also add that some of the people that need this the most are the people that are struggling.
I,
If you look at the kids who are getting picked on at school, they're not the most physically capable most of the time. And what they need is they need a supportive environment that's going to accommodate their needs, elevate them, and inspire them to be the best that they can be. And through that, we can see much bigger gains than maybe somebody who's already very athletic, getting involved in the martial arts.
well, I think my personal opinion on that is if they're showing improvement, they're showing up, they're doing their best, they're able to perform to the best of their abilities and make it work. I don't think that they have to necessarily tap everybody out.
Hmm.
Because even champions have bad days.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Um, a little bit on innovation under pressure. Did adversity push you to innovate new techniques or training methods with atavism?
Yes, it did. For example, I was a kicker. I studied Taekwondo and Kung
Mm,
Fu, and before I studied Kempo and
mm,
Goju. And for example, the Goju is all low kicks.
mm,
And so it was Kempo. But I had to turn myself from a kicking person and train my hands to be better than my feet were.
mm,
So I had to innovate techniques. We do a lot of throws in atavism,
mm,
but we don't necessarily kick really high. We sweep. We
mm.
do a lot of takedowns from the back. We have an
Gotcha.
acronym called CLIMB, control, limit, inhibit, maim, and break. That's what it stands for. And we want to control the opponent, limit what they can do, inhibit any further action. Maim and break is the last two. You know,
Mhm.
that's if um, necessity requires it.
And when you say takedowns from the back, you mean like ankle block takedowns, things like that, cradle takedown, or are we talking about something more um, abstract?
Like a sweep from the back, like you're sweeping the legs low.
Okay.
So we're
Taking out the
we're
knees. Okay.
kicking the calf instead of the thigh or the hip or the groin.
Hmm.
We sweep the leg from the back. We use foot traps like sapu, where we put our feet behind the ankle and
Hmm.
turn it in one direction, and so they can't move their foot. We're off balancing them.
Mm. Gotcha. Nice. So, how do you communicate the importance of adversity to your students at your school, Family Self-Defense School?
There's a Japanese proverb: fall down 7 times, get up 8.
Hey, yes, sir. That's
And
the
so
motto of the Jito Kwan, which is one of the nine schools that came together to form Taekwondo.
so you fall down, you get up, and you just keep getting up.
Hmm.
I've had a rough life, but my mindset has always been just get
Hmm.
up, um, go push forward, get done. When I was in social work school, they described me as a rhino. I see a problem and I go towards it. I go to fix it.
Mm,
Same thing goes with my martial arts. If I'm teaching someone who has a disability or is afraid, I teach them to face it.
mm,
Face it. One of the requirements to get a black belt under myself is every student who wants to test for black has to do a 100-man kumite. It's
wow.
not a 100-man kumite in the forsake of like word for Masayama Kyokushin,
Mm,
but it's a 100-man kumite. Every one of my black belts has competed in over 100 matches before they got to test for their black,
mm,
and that's in one day.
mm. It's impressive.
Thank you.
So, what did being acknowledged by the Martial Arts Hall of Fame represent for you personally?
It was a dream come true. It really was. It was a dream come true. It was a gift from God, and It was a challenge to get up and do more,
Mm,
to touch people's lives for the positive. I think a lot of people get so focused on making money that they forget they're touching lives, and you don't even necessarily know whose life you're touching.
mm,
You may be say an offhand comment, and that may force that person to really uh, think about why, where, what they were doing to cause such a comment. You never know what impact you're having on somebody else.
yeah, absolutely.
If I've if I've learned anything in this life, I would like to say that I want to make a difference in other people's lives.
Mm,
It doesn't make a difference at the end of this life how much money you made or how big your house was or how nice your car was. It matters that your life ever mattered to somebody else.
yes, sir. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
So on community impact, how have your adaptive methods influenced the broader martial arts community? Do you feel like other people are now sort of becoming influenced by your thoughts and training methods?
I don't know that yet. Honestly, I like to think that I'm making a positive impact on the martial arts community, but I'm just getting started.
Yes, sir.
That's, I'm just getting started. Hopefully that someday Atavism will be as well known as Kempo or Taekwondo.
Mm,
Not because necessarily that we market it so well, but that the students that I turn out will be uh, contributing members to society in a positive manner.
mm,
One of my students went to West Point. Another went to OCS to become a naval officer.
mm,
I have students who serve missions
mm,
in for their religion. Um, all of those things are honorable in my eyes,
mm,
and I want people to have honor, and I can't teach honor if I don't include it in my lessons,
mm,
and I don't show that by example. Which we all make mistakes, but I try.
mm. No, no, no. Yeah, absolutely. So, what core principles guide your training, especially during difficult times?
Core principles that guide my training. Well, I would want to say effort, etiquette, character, self-control,
Mm,
sincerity, commitment,
mm,
responsibility, integrity, faith, loyalty, honor, all the tenets that we practice.
that's great. Yes.
And
I
those are
try.
recited in every class and defined for new students.
Yes, sir. Sounds a lot like what I teach my own students, which, all those tenets as well as, it's not enough to just win. You have to win with, integrity and sincerity and kindness.
And we have to give credit where credit is due.
Mm,
One of my friends, Professor Skeet Lasser, he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy, and
mm-hmm.
his thing is don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Mm, yes,
You
yeah.
know, and that's very true.
Mm,
We have to take care of ourselves and we have to take care of the family. The reason I call it family self-defense school is I want everybody to feel like family.
mm,
And the role of a sensei, as I was taught, is that sensei is the role of a second father
mm,
or second mother. It's
mm-hmm,
not it's not something that should be taken lightly.
mm-hmm,
Because I mean I don't know. I have children. My
mm-hmm.
wife and I adopted 13 children, and we have
Wow.
three of our own.
Wow. When you say you have children, you
And
have
so
children.
um, I have children, yes, children, yes. Um,
Awesome.
but we want to make an impact on this community. We want to make an impact on our state. We want to make an impact on our country. We want to make an impact on our world. It
Mm,
begins at home.
yeah.
It begins at
Yeah.
home. And sometimes the only positive influence some of my students get is when they come to class. And it
Mm,
shouldn't be that way. By and large, my students have good families, but I've had students who, you know, were on WITSEC, and I've had
mhm,
students who were um, abused,
mm,
domestic violence, etc. And
mhm,
to see the light come on their eyes when they realize that, they can defend themselves,
mhm,
that's a blessing.
mm.
That's a blessing. And martial arts, is a very powerful tool, but it
Yes.
needs to be tempered with not just love of the art, but love of your fellow man, in my opinion.
Mhm. Do you have any stories to share about students and their journeys to overcome adversity?
Well, I have uh, I have a student who was attacked by three people,
Wow.
and she defended herself. And she's a tiny young lady, and
Wow.
she defended herself very successfully against all three of those people to the point that there was blood everywhere,
Oh,
and she saved her son's life.
wow.
I have another
Very proud.
student who, I'm sorry,
You must be very proud.
I'm very proud of her.
Yeah.
I'm even more proud of her that she did not let it go to her head.
Mm.
She realized what she can do. I have another student who was attacked by five people in town, one of them on the camera and four people doing the swinging. And he successfully defended himself very well. And he became very scared of his power afterwards.
Mm.
And has only been to the dojo maybe four times since then.
Hmm.
But I'm proud that he was able to defend himself. He was afraid when he came in, and but he acted honorably. He acted with self-control.
Mm.
Um, he protected his wife,
Wow.
and unfortunately, our society is getting more and more violent.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, the old Boy Scout motto is "Be prepared."
Mm-hmm.
So those are two of the stories of two people that I've trained that have successfully used defense in martial arts to save their own lives and the lives of others.
Yes,
I
sir.
have another story where a young man came in and he has Asperger's,
Uh,
um, and he never used it as a crutch. He's just not that way. He just doesn't use it as a crutch. He
mm-hmm.
fought 127 matches in his 100-man kumite,
Mm.
and he's now an officer in the United States Navy.
Wow.
So
Congratulations.
his whole life was adversity.
Mm.
To be accepted, to to feel normal, I think. And he never used it as a crutch. He's always been a hard charger the whole time through. I very rarely had to tell him things more than once. And if he didn't understand, he wasn't afraid to ask questions. And look at where he's gone now. He's an officer in the United States Navy, the same Navy I served in.
Mm. Yeah. So we've been talking a lot about physical challenges and how to adapt your body despite some physical setbacks. But I think mental training is also very important. How important is mental training compared to physical training when facing adversity in a self-defense situation?
It's extremely important. If you're not ready to deal with the consequences of your actions, that's a failure on my part as an instructor.
Mm,
If you're not ready to accept responsibility um, for your own safety as well as other safety, that's a failure on my part.
mm,
Martial arts should not be used, in my opinion, and this is only my opinion, to show off,
mm-hmm,
to flip flop all over the mat and show how flexible you are, and dance. It should be self defense for that purpose,
mm-hmm,
and not for playing showing games.
mm,
Um, mentally, we have to be ready to fail. but we have to be ready also to get up and try again.
Hmm.
That whole fall down 7 times, get up 8.
Hmm. What would you say to someone who feels discouraged about their physical or personal limitations?
Get up, get up, get started. Don't stop. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other, one effort after another. Just keep trying. You'll get there. You just have to keep trying. Um, like I said earlier, some of my instructors did not understand um, that I wanted to learn martial arts even with the disability. So,
Mm,
um, you know, and some of them, on the other hand, have changed their ways since then. Some of them I haven't heard from in years, but
mm-hmm,
they have, they have, they all impacted me
mm-hmm,
for the better. It just made me want to learn more, and set my stubborn mind to work.
mm-hmm,
And that's what I'd say: be stubborn, don't give up.
mm-hmm,
You're, you're worth it.
mm-hmm. Yes, sir. So, I really appreciate sharing part of your day with me, and we've covered a lot of ground in our discussion today. I have one final question that I'd like to throw your way, and that is, when you think about your legacy, what impact do you hope atavism and your teachings will have?
Wow, that's a hard question for me. I don't know if you remember, maybe you knew him, maybe you didn't, Ed Parker Sr.
I didn't
Um,
know him, but I know of him.
when he passed away, there were over 3,000 people at his funeral,
Mm,
and that's a legacy.
mm-hmm.
Those are they. I don't know this for sure, but I heard that they were turning people away because they didn't have room for them all.
Wow.
That's a legacy. He's touched 3,000 lives
Mm,
for the better.
mm-hmm,
Um, and his legacy is continuing to touch people's lives for the better. And I hope to live up to at least half of that, to teach people um, the value of themselves, to stand up, to do what's right, even if nobody else is doing it,
mm,
to have integrity above all else, to value their honor as sacred. That'll be my legacy. Is if I've created, you know, anything, hopefully it will be for the good.
mm. Yes, sir. Well, that's beautiful. That's a great note to end on. And like you said, you're just getting started. I'm wishing you all the success in the world with atavism and your school and everything you're striving for right now. If people want to get involved with what you're doing, where can they find you? How can they get connected?
Well, they can find me on FamilySelfDefenseSchool.com. They can find me, um, my books, my book, Family Self Defense School Student Manual 1, on uh, Amazon or Thrift Books. There's
Hmm.
two versions out there. I've rewritten it. I have Student Manual 1, and then I have Student Manual 1 second edition out there. And I've written actually, um, 3 other books, but I haven't published them yet. So I'm going to be doing a lot of work.
Wow.
Um, they can
Wow.
contact me via sensei.holly7 at
Hmm.
gmail.com. I'm willing to come out and travel and teach, do
Hmm.
seminars.
Yes, sir.
I do corporate events. I'm trying to get into that. Um,
Hmm.
I do private lessons, and they can always come to the schools.
Yes, sir.
Um, and they can always call me on my number. You can usually find my number on FamilySelfDefenseSchool.com.
Yes, sir. Well, so Hawley, thank you for sharing your story, your wisdom, and your perspective. Your journey is a reminder that adversity isn't a barrier, it's a forge. To everyone listening, whether you're a seasoned martial artist or just starting your path, remember, training doesn't stop when life gets hard. That's when the real training begins. This has been the Oneway Podcast. Stay sharp, stay adaptable, and keep moving forward. one way or another. If you enjoyed that podcast, please consider liking and subscribing to our YouTube channel, as well as hitting the notification bell.